Hey guys, welcome back to the Nets, the home of unbiased views. This is a channel where we talk about football, we talk about Arsenal football in particular. And before we go anywhere, if you have seen us before, please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, let us know how we are doing. If you haven't seen us before, give us a try and leave us a feedback. Our Twitter handles are right there in the bottom left corner. And with that being said, I do have Elroy with me. Hey, Elroy, welcome back.
Okay, okay.
Meeting again on not so good circumstances yet again. So,
I think we're getting used to meeting in such a depressing note, but it is what it is as of now.
so let's talk about the football season so far. I won't jump to the last game. Brentford 2-0, Chelsea 3-0, whatever that was. And now we are back here. We're again 5-0. A pattern evolving where no chances are being created. And yesterday was just outright depressing where the possession was 18%, shots on target 0, chances created 0, corners 0. It was just a pathetic display of football.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you see
I
that?
I think you've touched upon a very good point there. See, when I wouldn't say Chelsea because normally we have been at over the recent past we have been a team that has kind of got results against Chelsea, but then again Chelsea as a squad are definitely superior, and with the addition of Lukaku they are really almost like a complete side. So even then again City, this has been like a trend that we have had where we have always struggled. We've not done anything well, and we just but then there are certain annoying patterns, very annoying patterns, which I would like to highlight. One of them is which you have just touched upon, which you mentioned, that the chance creation. See, I agree that these are superior teams, maybe at least on paper, or even in quality wise, but we are not even trying to put up a fight like, I wouldn't say top 6 right now because we are far from a top 6 quality team. I would say we are not even putting up a fight like a mid-table team. We are just giving up or playing in a way which shows that okay, this is a bottom half team. There's a reason why I know again, no excuses for, I mean, City and Chelsea again are very strong quality teams, but there's no excuse to not play football at all in both the games against Chelsea as well as City, and I would even go to say Brentford to some extent. What were our chances created? The XG speaks for itself. We are not creating chances whatsoever. No shots on target. No, like what is happening there? You cannot expect us to go. I mean, I know fans will have this expectation that okay, like we go into this match against City, Chelsea, where we know we might not get a result, and that is fair enough because you know the difference in quality. But when you go and you're just whatever expectation you had that okay, maybe we are not going to win, this club likes to take it a level below and show you that see, we can do worse than what you even expected. And that for me is something which is very disappointing. And as I've said before, I honestly don't think that Arteta is going to get the sack after these 3 games because I'm sure the the board and the management and owners have always had this some excuse or the other. They've said COVID or they've said like tough fixture list, which I agree on. If you look at it, maybe they are genuine concern because we did have a lot of we do have a lot of absentees, but it just feels like the club is actually going to start judging him from the Norwich game, which for me is not the ideal case. But okay, like let him get a fresh start. But after the Norwich game onwards, if any of these patterns continue, then it's like, I mean, I have no idea what will be done after that.
So here's my 2 cents on why Arteta should be sacked right away. The fact that we started yesterday with a five back line. Understood, we are not going to get games out of City in City realistically.
Yeah,
We start off with the defensive intent. We have five backline, a backline of five. In the five backline, I think Kolasinac was probably the best defender. And either that or the fact that no goals were scored from his end gives him that excuse that okay, he looked decent among Chambers and Holding. But you have two players here who seemingly have are supposed to be decent in air. We are walking in with the intent of
ex-
defending and trying to block City, and yet they score five against us with absolutely not even going past from the second gear to the third gear. We didn't even make
exactly,
them struggle.
exactly. And if you go back to the game against when we played City at the second half of this season, where at the Emirates, where we lost 1-0, How did we lose it? We allow Sterling to score a header. Like, what does it say? Now we have someone like Rob Holding who's supposed to be. I'm not saying he is, but he's supposed to be one of the physically, aerially dominant center backs. He's like, because he does win a lot of header. But if you're going to let someone like the height of Sterling jump, get a header over you, or in this case, okay, it was not exactly Rob Holding. In this case, there were two headers scored, one by Ferran Torres and one by Gundogan, and both of them are not the tallest of players, and we are letting them score headers. Like, what does it say about our team? Like, what is this defending? And this is one of the points that pisses me off a lot when it comes to the Arteta side of things. Under Arteta, maybe we do play boring football. Our attack is very mechanical. I'll accept all that criticism, and that is fine. But one of the things Arteta had seen was that he had definitely made our defense a bit more structured. There was a better shape to it, and we did have the third best defense in the league last season, which shows that he did take defense seriously, and he did bring in something here, which a typical Arsenal side over the last couple of years didn't have it. But now, if you see in the last three games, the it's not just, anyone else would have said that maybe this is an anomaly, but no, they are not anomalies. Against Brentford, we conceded a goal from a poor defending again, Chambers clearing that, a poor clearance, didn't close the ball. Second was again a throw in. I know there was calls of goalkeeper being fouled, but again, you're conceding from a throw in, which is really really poor. Against Chelsea, both the goals, as we've discussed last time, they exploited our left wing, which we didn't know what was happening there. And now against City, it was just like we opened the gates and told City, please go ahead and score as many like as you want. So what is this now? Like, at least under Arteta, we had this thing that, okay, like we have a defensively solid team, like a team that could collectively defend, even if it meant playing 10 guys, 10 people behind the ball, but we were somehow getting a 1-0 result or whatever. Like, prime examples would be like the 2-0 victory against City in the FA Cup, or maybe the 2-1 victory against Liverpool, or maybe even last year's victory against Chelsea, where we had that one goal and then we sat back. I mean, those things work, but we don't even have that right now. So what is it? What is it about our team that we have right now? And what you said is correct. Like, in an ideal case, any people would have fired. I mean, Arteta, if in a club like say Chelsea or City or something that way, maybe he would have been fired by now. But the very well that our club is not going to fire him. Now, I would like to hope again, as we discussed, I would like to give him the benefit of doubt and really hope he can turn the things around from the next upcoming fixture, because it's relatively on paper a better fixture list. But the way the players' body language, the way they are playing, the way the things are going right now, even if you get back Partey, Gabriel, Aubameyang fully fit, or whoever is missing, Ben White, I don't think we are going to improve that much. I don't see a lot of tactical improvement.
You mentioned body language. I don't know if you got a chance to see. I watched the extended coverage till the very end when the players went in and they went in front of the away stand and they tried to applaud for the people in the
Okay, yeah,
stadium. It looked like we were so hapless. It was terrible. It was absolutely
yeah,
just the body language out there was so pathetic that it was like the players have given up. There is no mode of
yeah,
inspiration in the dressing room, in the back. And if you look at it, Brentford played out of their skin. That's a kind of
yeah,
performance that we want from our players. Brentford
exactly.
played out of their skin, but Chelsea and Manchester City, they barely shift from the second to the third gear. They were playing in
Exactly.
like it was a training ground exercise for them, bringing in, passing the ball, coming in, scoring. And the fact that zero chances scored, zero attempts made on target, zero corners, 18% possession, players getting disposed, we were not even able to string 10 passes together. That for me is a worrying
Exactly.
sign for any club.
It is, and irrespective of the red card, like, I mean, people will say the red card. Okay, look at Chelsea last night. Chelsea have a man down, and they were man down for 45 minutes, and they didn't concede a single goal after that. And it's not like they were playing a League One team or something that way. They were playing Liverpool, champions from 2 seasons ago. Liverpool that has a front three of like who had an attack of Mane, Salah, Jota. So, like, we cannot give, I mean, I would say that there's no excuse for this. The way it has been played is absolutely uh, horrible. And to be honest, I honestly don't know where do we go from here. Like, in case if people didn't know, like, I was listening to the Ornstein a podcast called the Arsenal Beat on Friday, and in that David Ornstein was the guest there, and so a question was put up to David Ornstein regarding the, whether will Arsenal sack Arteta. So he says that Arteta has the full backing right now. People understand that the situation is tough, and he'll be given more time. Of course, it cannot just continue like this. If it continues this way, obviously he's going to face the sack. But one point that Ornstein mentioned, which kind of bothered me a bit, was he said that KSE are known to be people who owners who will not sack a manager that easily, even in the other clubs across the US. Now, I mean, I'm not too sure. I've not done any research on this, but this is what Ornstein mentioned. Said that in all the other clubs, they don't tend to sack the managers so easily. They tend to give them time and a lot of time. And what they tend to do is maybe support them, provide tools for them to improve. Maybe of, and I don't know how far that works, what kind of culture that is setting in, I have absolutely no idea. But and the reason he said that the only reason they fired Emery in the first place was because Emery had lost the dressing room. Now, if I look at it from an outside point of view, if I see the way the players are saying, it looks as though Arteta has lost the dressing room. But now, has he lost it, or maybe it's just a couple of players who are it? Will things get better after the transfer window? Maybe, where certain elements might be removed off the squad. Maybe. I mean, we don't know that yet. But all I'm saying is that it's a very very worrying sign right now, and we like
Right.
right now I'm just someone who has not, I wouldn't say optimism. I'm just hoping that we get our results back, because Arteta or no, I want the club to do well, and I want us to get those results back, because I'm tired of watching this football which has no meaning, no purpose, no direction whatsoever.
So yesterday, another segment that I don't know if you didn't watch the game live, they didn't, might not have shown. Fans started walking out in the 30th minute. When the second one was scored, they were like, okay, enough of this. And they started walking out.
Yeah,
And then in the end, the fans started singing to Manchester City, and those little clips are all over on Twitter where they started singing,
yeah,
"You're not special, we lose every weekend." So,
yeah.
Manchester City, you're nothing special, we lose every weekend. So fans, I think, are at that point where they have given up. And again, the
Yeah.
fact that tickets are still available for season ticket holders shows that there is some kind of a revolt growing against growing against the club. Now, again, to the point where you say that KSC do not really fire their owners, that is true. But besides probably LA Rams, none of their teams are actually in the top tier of any competitive
Exactly,
games that they
exactly my
play at.
point, Kir. Exactly my point. I mean, what kind of culture does I was just having this discussion with a United fan who, if you compare the owners of United and Arsenal, I mean, I agree that both. I'm not saying that United owners are any better, because they themselves have had a lot of issues, and at the end of the day, none of these owners have had any, especially with the full Super League debacle. Nobody can shine themselves as a white knight that way. But at the end of the day, they are still trying to have that winning culture at the end. Like, they I'm not it's not see, people think that if the owners invest means that's it, like they have done their part. It's not just that. They have to be This has been one of my issues with KSE more than the transfers. In fact, I feel that KSE have backed Arsenal in the transfers. That is one of the misconceptions, that they have not backed Arsenal. They have definitely backed Arsenal. What they have not done though is not ask the right questions. KSE for me have always been reactive rather than proactive. Like, once the damage is done, that is when they go to see how do I fix it, rather than fixing something that is already broken. Rather than, if there is a, take the steps to avoid that thing from breaking in the first place. Be proactive. So coming back to the transfers and the strategy behind the thing, for me, KSE are a team that they has given us the amount of money. You can say that, if you look at it, just look at it over the last couple of years. If you just go back from, we've spent 50 million on Ben White, we've spent 35 million on Odegaard. Go last season, we have spent 49 million on Partey. We've spent what, 26 million on Gabriel. Go another season before that, and we have spent 30 million on Saliba, who's not used as well right now. But we did spend that. We spent 72 million on Pepe. Tierney 25 million for, okay, Tierney value for money, everything. Yeah, but we did spend 72 million for Pepe. Go a season prior to that, okay, that was like maybe Emery's first season, but we did spend decent amount of money. Go a season before that, and we have spent 50 million on Laka, 50 million plus on Oba. So you cannot say that they have not spent money. They have spent money. But my point is that if your money, you're not getting your worth of your money, that your investments are not, fair. It's high time you ask question of the management who are spending this money. Okay, like everybody knows that Raul Sanlehi was, I have now no idea whether it was COVID or whether he was sacked, and because he did have a lot of shady dealings. Why aren't these questions being asked on about Edu and Arteta? Like they are spending a lot of money, a lot of money. And as I said, I'm not against what we, as of now, we are still the highest spenders in the league. And I'm not against that at all. I mean, to be honest, it is pissing off for two reasons. One is because our team has not directly improved this season. And that is one thing which is very, very annoying. But the second part, and but at the same time, if you look at it, you can say that okay, we have spent 130 million, but this squad can come really good in the next couple of years because we've got quite a lot of youngsters, players in the 20 to 23 age bracket, which who will maybe not this year, but maybe next season or the season after next will once they hit their peak, the team will be at its peak, and we will. But my point is that if you are not where, what is the direction behind this? Like one last season, you're spending money and getting Willian. Next season, you're getting all youngsters. There's no strategy. There is no accountability at this point of time. So, what is the direction of the club? Is KSE actually waiting for things to get bad when fans stop coming to the stadium? There's a protest outside saying Arteta out or like KSE out. Only are they just waiting for all that to take place and to then take a decision that okay, like things are not working, or what is it? And I know I've gone on a kind of a rant, but this is the problem right now. And the problems of our club go way beyond the problems on the pitch. It goes right to the top.
So, I mean, we say that the problems are way beyond, what they are on the pitch, but the on-field decisions are made by Arteta and to a certain extent Edu.
Yes.
Whatever happens out there,
Yes.
you start a game with no DM, and people
Yes.
who call Xhaka DMs, I will seriously question their intelligence.
Yeah.
But we start a game with Xhaka as our DM, who is an absolute, who makes a horrific tackle and is expecting to get away with a yellow there, which
Yeah.
was it was a straight red, and that is the only positive that came out of that game, that we don't have to see his miserable person on the pitch playing for us for the next 270 minutes, and we can only thank heavens for that. I am pretty sure Tottenham is protesting that. But uh, if we look at it, those kind of decisions are made by Arteta and Edu. Sending Saliba
Yeah.
on loan. Are we saying Saliba is better
Exactly.
or not as good as Holding and Chambers? That for me is a question mark.
Yeah.
Chambers as a DM,
Yeah.
I will not really consider him as that concrete of a DM as a top tier club would need. Chambers as a right back, some of his issues get hidden when he's a right back because it's a completely
Exposed. Yeah.
different ballgame.
True.
So you are
Yeah.
having all these makeshift players who are playing around. Rob Holding, he adds whatever he adds, we do not know that yet. Is he good with somebody? Is he better when he has a senior player with him? But then, you are talking about a player who has played with Arsenal for 3 years now, and he has still not come up to terms with it,
Yeah.
which means he's not good. Let's be absolutely honest.
True.
These are the decisions that are taken by Edu and Arteta.
Exactly.
And if
So
a person like us can see that this is one of their shortfalls, then I am wondering why nobody in the management is actually pointing this out.
exactly. So now that you mentioned Edu and Arteta, let me go on a mini rant about them as well. Let me start go from since I've gone from the top, I'll go to the bottom as well. Let me start with Edu. Like what has Edu done? I know it's a difficult market. I know people will say that, I mean, Chelsea are the champions of Europe, so they can definitely end up selling for a better price because everybody wants the champion players from the champions of Europe. And let's face it, their players are genuinely good. The players who they are selling are players who actually be starters for these other teams. Arsenal don't have quality of players yet, but Edu is somehow. I mean, this is where you're judged as a technical director, how you handle with the transfers. As you rightly pointed out, Saliba was sent on loan, and it's. Are you telling me that he's better than Chambers or Holding or Murray? Exactly, those are the questions. And I myself thought, people questioned us with compared Saliba with White. I mean, we could have both of them together, but it's just it's a weird situation. Obviously. Second thing is let's talk about the likes of Chambers and Holding. let's talk about Chambers. He's a player who has been here since 2014. 2014, am I correct? Yes, since 2014. He's been here for what, 7 years? He's been in between. He has had a couple of loans. He started off as a 19-year-old center back, right back for us, who was had a lot of promise, but he's never had a fixed spot in the team, a starting role in the team. And for someone who has not had a starting role in the team, he's here for for the last 7 years. What does it say about him? Like, how are we keeping such players on our books? Why aren't we selling them off? Same goes with Holding. I mean, okay, Holding as a squad player, you want him as a fourth choice center back, but then you have Holding and Murray. Are we on? Do we honestly expect to go through the entire season with just White and maybe Gabriel? And this is looking at it in a very optimistic way that this is our best center back pairing. So what is Edu doing? Like again, I can come back to the spot that have we really improved our squad? The answer is no. Our squad is practically the same with just replacements. Like you can say Ramsdale instead of Matt Ryan. No doubt, Ramsdale could turn out to be a really good player, and he was impressive. Ben White replacing Luis, the same, the technical abilities that you have. Lokonga is replacing Ceballos, which let's admit it, Ceballos might have not had the best of second season, but Lokonga also has inexperience on his side as of this point of time. So there could be ups and downs. I mean, it's not clear cut. Odegaard, he's good, but he's again he was there last season, so we know what he can offer as well. He's very good that way. So I mean, I'm happy, but then there's no upgrade or there's no addition in terms of number of goals or the number of goals conceded that we are going to be expecting. With any changes that we have done. So it's a really upsetting side. And what Edu is doing, I have no idea. I mean, and at the end of the day, when you have had deals like getting Willian into the club or Cedric, you're obviously going to be questioned. So that now coming to Arteta, now for me, and this is and the Arteta part is for me is linked with Edu. Arteta might have a certain particular vision that is beyond all of us. Maybe it's a vision from another dimension that it cannot be achieved right now. Fair enough. Okay, I'll say that. Maybe he doesn't have the players, and maybe he has, but most of these players right that are present in the squad right now are his players who he has brought. Now, if Arteta expects us to play in a very fluid way, the way City plays, let's admit it, we don't have the quality of the City players. So, what do you do there? Are you going to continue to try and make the players play in that way? Or do you say that, okay, I have these players, I have Aubameyang, who's a player who thrives on chances, on multiple chances rather than giving him one chance and making him score? Or, I have someone like Xhaka. I mean, Xhaka can play better with someone alongside him. He had decent performances when Torreira was by his side or when Partey was by his side. Do I support Xhaka that way, or do I just play him as a lone midfielder? Like, we are not like you have Maitland Niles. I know he wants to play as a center mid, but can you convince him to play as a right back instead rather than playing? You have Cedric in the squad. What does Cedric offer to our team right now that he's starting against Chelsea and City? So these are the questions which like why isn't Arteta putting up a formation or making something with this team which which will adjust and play to the strengths of the team rather than a vision of yours, which, let's face it, at this point of time, I don't think any of us think that that vision is going to come true. Nobody sees us playing liquid football, fluid football at all. I mean, I would be shocked if we end up playing that against Norwich. And if we play against Norwich, it would probably be one game and that's it. Because everybody knows how to play against Arsenal. Everybody knows what is the weakness that certain Arsenal players have, and everybody exploits that. So what is it? Both of them have to be held accountable as well. And what you said is correct. On and off the pitch, we are a mess, and I don't know where do we go from here.
So the last few hours of the transfer window, how do you see that? Where do you see Arsenal going through? Do you see any outgoings?
I think we will get a lot of outgoings. As we all know, Willian is almost 90% out of the club. We will probably see the likes of Nelson and Eddie Nketiah and maybe Niles leave as well. There's a high chance that these three guys move alongside them. Apart from that, I don't think there will be any other. Oh, Bellerin is one person that we need to keep an eye on. And the only thing I see is that maybe we do get a right back. But apart from a right back, I don't see us getting anyone else, because if we need to get anyone else, there would have to be an exit. And of course, things do change in the last 2 days of the transfer window. Things change rapidly, but as of now, there's no whisper at all of any change. So that for me is a bit concerning. The only rumor that we keep trying to hear is something about a right back, but there's no rumor, no whisper whatsoever. So that is again something which, it's going to be an area that's going to be exploited big time by the oppositions if we don't get an upgraded right back there.
So, of these all players that you mentioned, the only one that I find worth keeping is Ashley Maitland-Niles. And if he
Same here.
wants
Yeah.
to be a midfielder, he wants to play alongside Partey as a midfielder, I would definitely see that being an upgrade on Xhaka. Is he as good as Sambi Lokonga? I do not know that yet because we haven't really tested him yet, but he's definitely upgrade on Xhaka. I mean, I have gone to that depths where I cannot dislike Xhaka anymore. He is just 13 red cards for a club captain who is worth 13 million shows the kind of quality that everybody else adds to this team. Like so far, not a championship team. I do not see somebody like a Holding or Chambers playing alongside Ben Dunk with Brighton. It's just they don't
Yeah.
just have the quality to play for a team in PL. So far, they have at least in this season they have not shown that they are anything besides being a squad player. And squad player
Yeah.
against what? When we are a team that is competing for Carabao Cup at the max or an FA Cup, and I do not see us finishing in the top 10 in the PL with this squad and with this manager. I wouldn't say with this squad, but with this manager, I do not see us being in the top 10. I would be happy if we end up between 14 and 18. Just barely avoid relegation would be a win for me at this stage, the way we are playing. But the rumors for Bissouma have taken a back seat, where that was one person who had
Yeah.
added steel. Our is catching up. So and Hussein Our in the last few hours have started catching up again. That he might be a potential addition in the next few days because he adds that. And the other one, the scary one, is Aubameyang and Juventus might come in for Aubameyang. Do you see that happening?
No, I don't think so. See, but the thing is simple. The straightforward answer is no, because clubs cannot afford Aubameyang's salary at this point of time. I mean, if you spend, because if they look at how Aubameyang has been performing, I don't think anyone will go to spend his 250K on his salary, 250K or whatever that is. So that is one thing. And to be honest, it's not just about Aubameyang. I would personally keep Aubameyang. I know I have been of this opinion that he has not been in good form and things like that of late, but Aubameyang is at the end of the day our main goal threat. He's a person who, if he's happy and he's in form, nobody can stop him. He just needs the surroundings around him to get him to improve. And right now, the overall club situation is pretty bad, and Aubameyang is misfiring. If Aubameyang is on song, he is going to be our guy. So I would not want to lose Aubameyang. Regarding our, again, our thing is just his agent has been offering him everywhere. He's offered him to Arsenal, he's offered him to Tottenham. And as I have tweeted about it, and as I've said last time, if so many, like last season, we heard rumors of PSG and Juventus after him as well, and that's why he didn't want to go. But if you have to just ask that question, if PSG and Juventus have still not gone after our, and the fact that even Arsenal, who was so interested in him last season, but still when they are being offered our on loan, are not ready to take him, you should start asking the questions as to why is that. So there is definitely something that the footballing world knows about our, may it be on and off the field, which is why nobody wants to take a risk on him. And that is my thought. He will still end up at a club like Tottenham. Maybe if Tottenham don't get their main targets, I feel that he will end up there. But our is something which I feel it is, Arsenal have said no to it, and yeah, it's not going to happen.
So there's also that possibility, and I'm just saying it, thinking through. Juventus have just sold Cristiano Ronaldo, so they have the money, they have the cap, and Cristiano Ronaldo was clocking a lot more than 250
Yes.
at UA, sorry. So there is every possibility that UA can afford that salary now. They'll probably save a little bit when they consider
Yeah,
Oba,
they
and there is
can.
also that
Yeah,
possibility
they
that
could
Oba
do.
might be willing to take a pay cut to get out
Yeah,
of this mess.
that is possible. But based on the rumors, at least right now, that Juventus don't want to go in that line. They want to go into a direction which is a younger forward. And if I'm not wrong, they already have an agreement with Moise Kean from Everton, who was at Juventus before. So I think they already have an agreement to buy loan or buy him. So I think that'll happen. So Oba, for me, Oba Lacazette, it's going to be very difficult to move any of them, and I don't think that'll happen now.
So Do we see us winning against Norwich?
Yeah, I think we will definitely win against Norwich, especially with certain key players back. It's the games after. I think after Norwich we play in against AFC
Burnley.
Wimbledon in the Carabao Cup. Yeah, but in the PL it is Burnley. I think it's a Burnley and Tottenham game which are going to be very very crucial because. Uh, Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Arteta as a manager has won against Burnley. I don't think he has won a single game against Burnley.
Burnley away
And
is going to be a big test.
Tottenham,
It
yes, they are obviously
Burnley
our
away is
rivals.
not going to be an easy game
Yeah,
for us by any means. And
yeah.
Tottenham,
So,
I do not see us
so
winning. Realistically, Tottenham
if
are playing well
yeah,
as a team. They
yeah.
might not have
So if
fired all
yeah,
cylinders, but they are playing well as a team.
yeah. So if you ask me, the Burnley and Tottenham matches are going to be the main deciders for Arteta's future. He doesn't get the results in those two games, then I don't see him surviving past Tottenham game. That is my prediction in
Scary
this.
thought considering that after 6 games, we could be barely 3 points or 4 points. And uh, it, it's also, we also have to consider which new manager would want to come in and join that a relegation battle.
That
Do we wait for
I think
somebody
I
like
think
an Antonio Conte to come in after 6 games are done and we are fighting a relegation battle? Are we expecting miracles out of him?
we would definitely be expecting miracles out of him. At this point of time, we get in a big name manager, someone experienced with a plan. It would obviously be expecting miracles out of them. Which for me, again, the question comes that will, people suggest Conte, even I wouldn't mind someone like Conte, but will Conte want to come to Arsenal? Because one of see Conte, today's one guy actually tweeted about this, that why would Conte choose Arsenal when he already rejected Tottenham? On paper, it looks like, what is this guy talking? It's Arsenal. But then again, our entire thing right now, our entire brand right now is purely based on it's Arsenal. For how long are we going to use this brand image of ours? Arsenal are slowly becoming a joke on and off the field. And when it is a joke, like which manager would I know we have an attract we are in a London club, we might have good training facilities and maybe other things, but will Conte actually want that? Because there are similar issues due to which he rejected Tottenham. And Arsenal are like quite are at a similar position, if not worse, as compared to Tottenham. So, what would make him come here if he has already rejected Tottenham? And I know it does sound like a wrong thing for me to be say. I'm not. This is not praising Tottenham in any way. It's just showing that Arsenal are not in a good stage to even. I would be surprised if Conte comes to Arsenal or he's attracted by the Arsenal proposal. Let's just
I
put it
I
that way.
have a feeling everybody has a price, and if the money is right, I know I sound optimistic here, but I think that thoughts are already out there that maybe Arteta is not the right man. And as much as we
So
know
that
that he's being backed. I don't really think the
I
scenes
think there
might be
is
a little
pressure.
bit
There's
different behind the
definitely
back.
pressure on him.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have a
definitely.
feeling. So,
The very fact that a couple of these articles, which I expected to have come out in October or November, they have already started to come out in August, shows that yes, things are not as rosy as they sound, and there is pressure. There is definitely pressure.
all right, anything else that we missed out on regarding that big Arteta? I mean, post-mortem of that game? Did we miss anything? Transfer window?
I don't think we even had any post mortem of the game, which is good. But yeah, we've just had a post mortem of Arsenal Football Club as
And
a whole.
like I said, the only positive was Xhaka missing 3 games. I am absolutely thrilled with that thought. I really am. I mean, it's beyond me how a player like that is still playing football. I would not trust him to drive my Uber, forget driving a club forward. So for me, I have a very bad feeling that maybe Norwich, Burnley, and Tottenham fans are going to protest against Xhaka's ban, and they would want him in the Arsenal squad when we play them next. But
Yeah,
realistically, and on that note, let's wrap up for today. Well, thank you guys for watching
yeah.
us. If you have seen us before, if you have come this far, please do hit the like button. Let us know what we are doing good, what we are not doing good. Give us a shout out if you can. And any final words, Elroy?
No, okay. It's just we have like 2 days in the transfer window and 2 week break. So I'm not expecting anything, but I need that 2 week break. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Don't want to see Arsenal for the next 2 weeks. That will be a depression relief kind of a thing. But thank you guys. Wherever you are, stay healthy, stay safe, and we will talk to you guys soon. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.